Okay, welcome friends. I'm Jimmy Doddridge, brother of Amy, and we're here to celebrate Amy's life and tell a few stories about Amy, and then we're going to go and show you her last night, where she was, where her accident occurred, and then go to her house and give her a final send-off. Amy was Army strong, a proud woman veteran, served in the Gulf War, and had earned a Bronze Star over there. And that's something I didn't know. She had never told me. But going through her things, I found her commendation for a Bronze Star. And my connection with her had a lot to do with the military service. I was a Marine Corps veteran, Amy an Army veteran, and then our veterans status today. She moved up here. We're up in Raven County, Georgia. I live in Clayton. She lived in Tiger, which is about 10 minutes away. And she moved up here in 2014. And I had never explored veterans benefits and things like that until she got up here. And Amy knew every benefit, discount, freebie on the books, and she helped me get lined up for some of that stuff. And it was like really great to reconnect with her up here after so many years apart, having my little sister up here and reconnecting, going on walks, doing the movie thing, lunch thing, all that kind of stuff. It was great. After Amy's military service, she moved up to Sanford, Florida, where she began going to school and working. She ended up buying a home in Sanford and connecting with her beloved Aunt Jackie, Jackie Carlo of Sanford, Florida. They formed a really strong and strong bond and friendship, and with her Aunt Jackie and the entire Carlo family, Susie, Bonnie, Mark, Mike, and Jack. And those of you that know Amy know she walked around with a big silly grin all the time, and never did I see it bigger and sillier than when she showed me her Aunt Jackie's obituary a few years ago, where she was declared Aunt Jackie's favorite niece. Amy was really fortunate. She had a great network of friends, especially down her childhood friends growing up. Sherry, Carrie, Debbie, Meg, and Bruce, and so many others. And just recently, they were given a memorial for Donnie Law down in Miami, and Amy was set to attend there, but yeah, she didn't make it. So they joined Amy as in memoriam there. And my brother Clay called me up the morning after and was just blown away by all the condolences and stories he had heard about Amy. And I wish I could have been there. And just some other stories about Amy I wanted to share. And one was when I called Alex de Cubis and told him of the news. And after he'd gotten over the shock, he said what a sweetheart Amy was, that even though they had gone their ways many years ago, that Amy had always never forgot his mother, would send cards and visit when she was down there, and just talked about what a sweetheart she was. And another phone call I made was to Onyx Lasada, Amy's longtime friend. And again, after a couple minutes where he just expressed grief and surprise, he told me about, he said he had a problem. And I said, well, what's that? He said, well, I don't know, how am I going to tell my sister and my mother, because they loved and adored Amy. And I just don't know how I can tell them. And a couple days later, I talked to him again, and he said he had told his sister, and she just screamed and and so forth. But he said he wasn't going to tell his mother because he's afraid he'd kill her, that she's getting up in age, and so the sweetness, that's the most common descriptive term I've heard about Amy. And it began with my brother Clay, who probably took this the hardest and just kept talking about what a sweet sister he was. And it seems like everybody I've talked to that's offered their condolences and had a story to tell about Amy, the same descriptive term over and over, sweet, how sweet she was, and now she's become, you know, our sweet sister. And one thing I learned about Amy is like I've had to, you know, pick up her mail and so forth. She had a P.O. box and a street mailbox, and every time I've gone to get her mail, they've been stuffed full, and I've had to pry letters out one by one so I wouldn't tear them. And she had such a big heart. She would give to St. Jude's Hospital, the Humane Society, Feed the Hungry, Wounded Warriors Project, Paralyzed Vets of America, and several more. She just was that kind of person, had that kind of heart where she was always thinking about others. Right. She was coming by to pick something up, and so I was sitting out here on my deck, and she pulled around the corner. Mike, if you want to pan over the corner, came around the corner of her Jeep, and then I got up and walked down and met her right down there on the street, and she was sitting in her Jeep, and this was her tire cover for her Jeep. It says it all about Amy. Jeep here don't care. And she had this Army veteran thing in the front, and that was her rear license plate. And so I walked down there to meet her, and she was just sitting there in her Jeep, and it was drizzling rain, and she was getting wet. And I go, Amy, you know, it's raining. And she said, oh, I don't care. Once I get going, it just blows right over me. And that was, she loved that Jeep and thought she was all that, riding around in that up here. And that was the last time I saw her. It was like 2 days before the accident. And so now we're gonna go over and show you where Amy was that night, and show you where her accident occurred, and then go over to her house and give her a send-off. Right? Okay, and I just wanted to show you a little bit about life up here, and I've got my Amy's favorite niece, and my granddaughter, a legit bona fide angel, Aaliyah, here that's going to help me. But this is just like Amy made the front page of the Clayton Tribune. This is a once weekly newspaper up here, and her accident made the front page. Okay, and this is that was the week of her accident. The week of her obituary in the paper, there was news of a buffalo goat missing up here. And it's just kind of a flavor of the stories up here. Presumed to be roaming in Raven County. But the good news is the missing buffalo returned with a calf. They named it Chase Elliott. Okay, now we're going to go to where Amy was her last night. This is where Amy came her last night. They're having a live stream of the Florida Georgia Line concert. I talked with some folks that were doing landscaping work at her house, and they had told me it was a Saturday night. They said they were working late, and Amy was there about 7 o'clock and had that big silly grin on her face, and she was all happy. She told them she was leaving for the Florida Georgia Line concert. And so I saw in her Jeep she had a lounge chair, a cooler with snacks, and a blanket, and it was a clear night, about 65 degrees. Would have been a beautiful night for the concert. She came here with a couple of her friends, Rita and Dee, and there may have been some others, I don't know, but this is where she came, and then when she left here, it's about a 3-mile drive down the main road to the road that leads to her house. That's where we're going to go now. This was Amy's final drive from the drive-in theater. The main road is right there. We're about 200 yards off the main road. And she was coming down here, and she was driving along here. And you can see here where her 2 right side tires went off the road right here. This is a really dangerous spot in the road. They really need to do something about it, but her 2 right side tires went off. The Jeep went off the side, and she was ejected from the Jeep, and the Jeep ended up coming to rest on top of her. It was about midnight after the concert, and a neighbor driving by the next morning discovered a Jeep on the side and discovered Amy there, and they called the Sheriff's Department, the Raven County Sheriff's Department, and they came out here with the Georgia State Patrol and the coroner, and their conclusion was she didn't have a seatbelt on, which is surprising because I never got 2 feet in any of her vehicles without a seatbelt on. But that was their conclusion, and I don't know. Somebody put the flower of the angels out here. I don't know who, but okay, we're gonna go to her house now and say our final goodbyes. Now we're at Amy's house here. She moved up here in 2014 and bought this house, and it's a great house. It's super well built. It's got a creek on the front of it, and she built this carport, had this carport built for her beloved Jeep, so she keep the top off and the doors off in the summertime. And then over here, she was having some landscaping done. She had a brick walkway along the front of her house and was going to make a little terrace area out there, and up here she had a walkway made around the rear of her house. She's got a creek in the rear also, but she just had good landscapers like this back here. And it's got a little creek running in the back where you can sit out here and on her deck and listen to the creek, watch the water. She's even had a couple bear visitors come up here. But, she loved this place. All right, now we're gonna, in just a minute here, give her a final send-off. Goodbye, sweet sister.